Alright, so first step in setting our y-axis end stop and leveling our bed, we're going to go ahead and make sure this plate is all the way down. Do that by loosening these two knobs and then turning this clockwise till it stops. This way we know the build plate is all the way down. You go ahead and just snug those back up. The next thing we're going to do is bring our nozzle all the way down until it touches. And right now it's not doing that because it's all the way down. So we're going to go ahead and loosen our stop switch. Bring this down a little bit. You want to go ahead and bring this all the way over to the 0 position and bring it down to where it just touches the belt. Then take your 0.2 shim, set it between the carriage and the bracket for the stop switch so it holds it in place. And it's going to move slightly as you snug them up just a little bit. Put it back in, give it a little push so it holds it. And then make sure this is nice and tight. It's not the easiest thing to do. It does have this nasty tendency of moving on you while you tighten it. The reason we want to set it like this is so you have some sort of physical end stop in case you get a belt skip. This way you don't bury the nozzle so deep that it just melts right through the belt. Now that we have that part done, we can go ahead and level the bed to the nozzle. That'll be our next step. Alright, so next step is go ahead and power on the printer. While that's warming up, everything about the way this is done will go against normal practice. On a normal printer, you want the nozzle hot while you're doing all this. On the belt printer, we want to keep it cold because we don't want to do any prolonged exposure to a heated nozzle to the belt. We don't want to damage it. Everything in the firmware is designed to keep the nozzle off of the bed whenever it's not in use, not printing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and home it. Now we're going to go ahead and dial this down to where it's just making contact with our 0.2 shim. Alright, that's just touching it. So now we'll go ahead and move the x-axis now. Let's take it over to 110, which is halfway. And we're already much tighter. And that can't go down any further, so we need to go back. Well, let's just do this. Since we know the far side is higher, I'm going to go ahead and take this over to 220. And I will move my y-axis up. Now we'll bring the X back over to the other side. And now what we can do is we'll bring this side up by loosening this and then turning this counterclockwise. Snug that. Snug that back again and then check again. Now we'll take it back over to 220 again. And back to 0 now. And that feels about the same. So now we know we have the belt leveled. The next step would be to repeat step 1 and reset the stop switch, since we have slightly changed the height of the bed, and then we'll move on to setting our offset. Alright, so I've powered it off, put the nozzle back down against the belt, readjusted my y-axis end stop with my 0.2 millimeter shim. Now we're going to go ahead and home everything again. And now we're going to move our y-axis down until we have our 0.2 millimeter shim. Take it down to roughly negative 3.9 is usually pretty close. Okay, 4.1 seems a little too tight, so I'm going to back it back off to 4. Alright, so now we've got it shimmed 0.2 off. Now we want to make sure it's at 0, so we're going to go down 2 more, so we'll be at negative 4.2. Exit out. Go all the way back to the main menu. Make sure all our other axes read 0, which they do. And now we're going to go to Configuration, Advanced Settings, Set Home Offsets, and then go to Configuration, Store Settings, and I like to go ahead and just load settings. Go back to our main, go back to motion, home again, and then move axis, move Y, and just check to see where it's at, and it is at plus 4.2. so when we go to start the print to 0, it'll go down 4.2. This is how you level and set your y-axis offset for printing.